Alright, here's the wood I'm going to be using. I'm going to be working on the floor today. So I've got some 4x4s pressure treated, some 2x6s pressure treated. And I think that's all I need for today. And there's some plywood there that I'll be using. And I think these are the tools I'll need. So I've got a miter saw and a power drill and some squares, framing square and a speed square and a 3-foot level and some miscellaneous things, but I think that's all I'll need. So time to get to it. Alright, so I've got my beams laid out where I think I want them. So I've got them going down that way. So one beam per 3 piers. And I laid it out this way just because there's more room to drill the holes this way than if I were to go that way with the beams. And so you see, so to get them, try to get them squared up, I set up this line that goes from this bolt down to that one, and I'm measuring an equal distance from the string to the end of this post, so that they'll all be relatively at the same position on this side, on the right side, so that on the left side they'll all be at about the same position there too. So, okay, so I have leveled the 4x4s out, and that's what we have. So that took a little while, but it's worth it. Don't want an unlevel shed, and so I think these things are going to be a problem now. Probably gonna have to cut those and then make little notches in the 2x6s that's gonna sit on top of here. But oh well, I think it'll be okay. Level. Look at that. Anyway, so I'm gonna start putting the 2x6s up there to make the floor. Alright, so I've got all my wood cut for the floor, or the subfloor. These are all 2x6x12s. So these pieces that piece that's facing me right now is 12 feet long. And in order to make a 12x12 box, those cross members need to be 11 feet 9 inches. I also got it squared up, which is very important for your floor. Because if you don't have a square floor, then none of your measurements are going to work out very well. And everybody on YouTube says, make sure your diagonals are the same distance. And what they really mean is use the Pythagorean theorem. So you take this big box and you make 2 triangles out of it. You know, you just draw an imaginary line from there to there. And since it's a 12x12 box, you do 12 squared plus 12 squared equals some unknown number squared. So you take 144 squared plus 144 squared, and you take the square root of that, and you get the diagonal measurement that you're supposed to have. And for this one, it turns out to be 203 inches and about 3/4 of an inch. And I got roughly that, so I'm happy. So now I'm gonna, these are connected here, got those screwed in, and I've got this tacked in place. Well, not tacked, we're not welding, but it's held in place by some screws to the 4x4s. So now I'm going to be using these handy little things that I drew. Those are my 16-inch on center markings. So I'm just going to center up this board with that mark and screw it in. So do that with all these boards, then I should have a subfloor. I think that's about it for now, so I'm just going to go screw those in, then I'll start putting plywood on top. Now I've got the floor all braced, so I had the joist running lengthwise that way, but if you just kind of leave it like that, and these are 16 inches on center, so with this 3/4 inch plywood that I'm using, I've been told it will be a little squishy. So to add extra support for the plywood, I put those braces in, and so those are every 3 feet. So there's 4 boxes go running down the length. And remember, when you cut these, this one is going to be 3/4 of an inch shorter than all of these middle ones. Pro tip. anyways, I screwed all those in. So now I'm going to put the plywood on. And something I didn't mention was these joist hangers that I hadn't put in before, but I was told was a very good idea. So install joist hangers to hang your joists, floor joists, ceiling joists, whatever. And notice that these are staggered so that you can screw the blocks in on each side. So now I'm going to put this plywood on. I have 5 sheets to cover this 12 by 12 shed, and I'll have half of a sheet left over, so a 4 by 4 piece of plywood left, if my calculations are correct. And after I've got everything, before I put down the first piece of plywood, I'm going to make sure that the floor is square. And when it's square, I'm going to, right now the floor is not, it's just tacked down with that screw there and one on that other corner. So I'm going to square up the frame of the floor with the first piece of plywood. Then I'll just start screwing it all down and everything should just work. Here's the decking all on, and it's level all directions pretty much, so that's a good thing. What I did, there are 2 layers here. So I put the 3/4 inch that I had on there, and not sure if you can see that, that's on the bottom. And then I got another 1/2 inch treated plywood layer on the top. And the reason for that was the 3/4 inch wasn't as firm as I would have liked, but that's all taken care of now. And I don't know if you can see the pattern, maybe you can, but I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 full sheets of plywood there, a 4th one here, and then half in the corner. And the layer on the bottom has the same pattern but in reverse, and that's to minimize seam overlapping from the 2 layers. You don't want that. So that corner piece on the bottom layer is over in that corner, so remember to do that. And when I put the second layer on, I use some adhesive that I got at the Restore, Habitat for Humanity. You can see that coming out there. There it is. Anyways, that's very important. Bond the 2 layers together. And when you're screwing the second layer down, you only need to screw into the first layer. So you don't need super long screws to reach into the floor joists. That'd be a little tough. I guess the next step is to start framing stuff.